My intention with this webinar is to share some insights about the breath. I'll take 2 hours, so we'll have plenty of time to answer questions. I've got Carl in the chat who is going to assist me today. We have a few of the graduates who are also here, so feel free to chat and ask them questions, and I'll happily get them to share their experience. So share some practical, I want you to leave with some really practical, a new view on the breath, practical information, practical tips. And also my intention is to promote my online course that I'm releasing. First time I'm releasing it. It's 3 years of preparation. So I'm very excited for it. So I want to share what this course is about. And there's a lot of courses out there. So I want you to understand why it's unique and what's unique about it, what's different about it. And yeah, if you resonate with it, well, I'll happily be on that journey with you. So why have I done an online course? Because people have been asking me for years to do it. I have focused on in-person workshops, trained more than 6,000 people, 400 trainers. And I struggled with the online format. Did it during COVID, but that was not necessarily my theme. But really, that's why I recorded it. I was not always happy with it, so I've done it again and again, and I'm finally happy with it. So I think it's a really authentic, genuine, it's a course that is a life-changing course, and that's really the intention, that I really want people to perceive how the breath can be life-changing the same way that they experience it when they are with me. So I've done it in a way that is bit-sized, that people can digest, and with tons of practical tips, a lot of homework. And so, yeah, I'll happily speak about the course itself in a bit, but first, I'll focus on the breath itself. So in the essence, I want to tell you why the breath is such an incredible tool. And I'm really surprised that it's not used more or expressed more and studied more by people who are studying medicine, people who are working with children, with anyone. Every human should really explore the magic of the breath. If you want to meet a breath master, the ultimate breath master, go look at a baby. You take any baby, they breathe perfectly. So I strongly believe, and I mean, everything I say is nothing really new. I'm just condensing things that you probably either have heard or is pretty established, is that the way we breathe is the result of our life experiences, the good ones and the bad ones. But everything we experience had an impact on our breath. So the way we breathe becomes a symptom of what is going on for us. So the breath is two things. It's a symptom and it's a cure. And there's not many things that are both a symptom and a cure. So when we look at people, people share about their breath, they give us information about what's going on for them. And at the same time, once you're educated, once you know about the breath, once you understand how it is giving you access to the remote control of the body, then all of a sudden you're empowered with practical, simple, straightforward tools to take control of your life. So what's going on for the first 7 years of your life, you are in theta brainwaves most of the time. And it's that state that a hypnotherapist will put you in order to access your subconscious mind. So you're basically being conditioned for 7 years. That's what's happening for the first 7 years of your life. You're in theta brainwaves and you are being conditioned. The rest of your life, 95% of the time, you are running the program that was conditioned during the first 7 years of your life. So you're pretty much not in control of your life. You have access to 5%. The rest is just subconscious running the program based on your traumas, on how you were raised, how you experience love, what kind of attachment you experience as a child. This is how you're being conditioned. So this has a huge impact on every decision you make. The job you take, the kind of coping mechanism you develop, the relationship that you seek, the expression of love that you give and that you receive, it's all coming from those first 7 years. Now, the good news is once you're educated on this, you are also given access to tools to change the programming, to access and extend the 5%, where you can move from being operating unconsciously to finally operating consciously. And that's what the breath can do. Look, now I'm asking you, pay attention to your breath. You've been breathing the whole time, unconsciously. You didn't pay attention to your breath, but you were already breathing. So you don't really need anyone to tell you to breathe. You're doing it unconsciously. But just the fact that I say, hey, pay attention to your breath, all of a sudden, you're being mindful. How's my inhale? How's my exhale? Am I inhaling more than I'm exhaling? What's going on there? You are breathing consciously. And when you understand what an inhale can do for you, what an exhale can do for you, how changing your breathing pattern can affect your nervous system, how changing and accessing your nervous system gives you access to different parts of your brain, give you access to your emotions, to your stories. All of a sudden, you're given, I say it in the description, a Swiss Army knife. And with this Swiss Army knife, you can do anything. Imagine if I give you access to a way to relax in the evening. Well, guess what? That's your nervous system that needs to be triggered. And you can trigger your nervous system into relaxation just by prolonging your exhale. And after that, you've got tons of breathing techniques, and we go through all of them, and you are getting tons of, modalities, and you just have to follow along. But in a nutshell, prolonging your exhale will get you to relax. So, that's a pretty big deal. Let's say you want to digest your food better. People are obsessed with what they eat, when they eat, but rarely are they paying attention on how they eat. If you are breathing through your mouth, you are more activating what is called the sympathetic nervous system. If something stressful is going on, you tend to breathe through your mouth. Well, guess what? In this fight-flight state, you're not in rest and digest state. So whatever is going on, no matter the quality of the food, if you are not in a state where you can really fully receive it, well, you're not going to receive the nutrients. So you can have the healthiest food in the world, you're not going to receive it. So having conscious of your breath, of your state, and just taking moments where you're getting control and you start breathing consciously has literally effect on every aspect of your life. This is the secret to sleep. This is a secret to weight loss. This is a secret to sex. This is a secret to making choices that feel right in your life. I can't stress enough how it is the answer to every question, literally every question. And you know what? You receive those words are truths. I don't have to convince you more, because we have this intelligence in our body. We know intuitively what is right and what is wrong, what resonates as truth or not. Unfortunately, we don't always listen. We operate from the unconscious mind. We are being triggered by fear, and we'll definitely live in a society that is using that to control us, to manipulate us, whether it's for you to buy this brand or to shop more or to vote for a certain person or to, control your behaviors. Once I get access to your fear, I can absolutely control you. And this is a secret of social media. This is how we are being controlled in every aspect of our life. But it doesn't have to be this way. We don't have to operate through our triggers, through our traumas. So this is just a brief introduction. I'm conscious of the time, so I also want to share a bit about me. I want you to know me. I want you to know something about me, so you know who is your teacher or your facilitator, and see if you resonate with my story. And as for the course itself, we break down every aspect: breath and trauma, breath and stress, breath and digestion. So at the end, you really get tons of knowledge. And again, knowledge is power. So, and I'll answer all the questions regarding the course after. But a little bit about me and why I share about me, because I am nobody. I don't have superpower. I cannot hold my breath forever. I cannot take crazy ice baths. And you know what? We live in a world where often we seek for teachers that are above us. We want people that we are impressed by. We say, oh my God, I wish one day I will look like her and be flexible like him. And that's a big lie. It's time to honor our humanity. And that's why I share my story, just because I'm going through everything and all the challenges of life, just like everyone else. And I found that the breath was the tool that got me to get control and not be operating based on my past. I'm not controlled by my past. I'm not my past. I am now controlling my present, my inner state. I am choosing how I show up in the world. So here it is. I give you the short story. But on one side, I have my father. My father came from the richest family in Hungary. And he got chased by the communists and then the Nazis and escaped death. And as a result, he came to France with absolutely nothing, complete refugee, and struggled financially, got hungry at times. So imagine the kind of education I received. Basically, whenever I would come home with some knowledge, the reaction of my dad would be, hey, I'm going to sit you down and I'm going to tell you more about this topic. So I was never acknowledged for what I knew. I was always challenged. I was always pushed, because for him, I just needed to be more coming from his own trauma that he had passed on. So till today, I still struggle with feeling good enough. On the other side, my mother was also escaping the Nazis, and she got asked as a very small child to not use her own name, to use another name, because her Jewish name would have been maybe a death sentence. So as a result, she experienced love through manipulation and lies. And that's a big part of how I got raised, through manipulation with a good intention. But yeah, I still today struggle between being honest, being in integrity, and sometimes manipulating in order to please people, to get my way out, because it's sometimes just easier. So just one or two stories about how it's been impacting my life. When I was 23, I was backpacking, and I'm a puppet master. So I was doing shows in Laos and impressing people and kids with my puppets. And a photographer came to me and says, hey, I'd love to hire you for a gig. And as we are sitting and discussing about the gig, a beautiful girl passed by. And I tell the photographer, hey, I'm going to invite the girl to our table. And if she comes, well, you just take off and I'll be with her. The girl came to our table and she started telling me her story. And I'm going to not share the detail of the story because that belongs to her and it belongs to me. But basically, whatever she shared, I said, oh my God, me too. And I started lying compulsively with the intention to impress her, thinking that my story, if I just share who I am, she will never be interested in me. She will never want to sleep with me, which was my only goal. I am not good enough. So how could I just try to be myself? Little did I know that, yes, I managed to connect with that girl in the way I wanted, just for a few days. And then we took a different path. And I bumped into her 14 years later. We went back to Laos. We made 2 kids together. All this time, she really believed in all the stories that I shared with her. And the foundation of our relationship was just a lie, and it healed me. So when she decided to leave me, I felt relief that I could continue with my lives, no matter how destroyed I was. The idea of being exposed was more painful than anything else, even losing my relationship and the connection with my kids. That's how traumatic this was. Eventually, I told her. She didn't care by then. And we still have a difficult relationship, which I'm very much sad about. So it's easy to judge someone. It's easy to just see the action of someone and judge, oh, that's a bad person. But it's another story when you get the context, when you understand what happened, what is the story that get that person to behave the way they behave. I'm lucky enough now to start a program working with prisoners here in Bali. And by the way, 30% of the proceeds from the course goes towards social impact, working with kids and with prisoners. There's no such thing as a bad person. They're just people that, because of the context of their childhood, of how they experience love in a dysfunctional way for the first 7 years of their life, are now perpetuating the way they've got raised. There is not a child abuser that is not a victim of child abuse. And I do believe that we don't heal through rehabilitation, through lecturing, by telling you how to do things. I don't believe in giving you advice. I don't believe in telling people how they should behave. I believe in healing. I believe in compassionate curiosity, just holding space for people to just be themselves. Because we live in a world where you cannot be bad. You always have to be good. And as a result, we live a lie. We show some images on social media. We pretend, and we struggle with being ourselves. We feel like, oh my God, if people only knew who I really am, and you know what? If they only knew, they wouldn't care. And that's a big secret. Just look at yourself right now and how you are, whether you're judging me or not, your opinion that you have about me. Do you think less of me or more of me as a potential teacher? And I'm sure I don't have to ask you. You don't think anything less. Because the truth is we want to belong. We want people to love us. And we feel that when we are ourselves, if I show you the truth of how dirty and how messy I am, then you wouldn't want to be with me as a student, with me as a life partner, with me as a co-worker in any situation. And the truth is exactly that the opposite that is happening every time. When we show up being just ourselves, when we drop the mask, when we don't pretend anymore, it creates connection. And that's the space of truth. And that's a space of true liberation. When all of a sudden, you don't have to worry about wearing a mask. You don't have to pretend anything. You don't have to be associated with the role you taken in, oh, I'm a mother, I'm a CEO, I'm this and that. You know what? The truth is no one cares about the role that you take on. There is a language of the heart. There is a connection that happens beyond words when you just feel people's aura and how authentic and vulnerable they are. And when we are in that vibration, we just want the same. We just want exactly that, because that's true liberation. And guess what? The reason I share this is because the breath is the tool that gets you there. The breath is always available. So now, going back to my story, when I feel I have to lie, I can feel the trigger. I can feel my heartbeat going up. Says, oh my God, something big is happening. I'm being triggered. Triggered is a small thing that is impacting and has a big impact. That's what a trigger is. But you know what? Now I have a tool. I can just add a breath. I can just connect to my breath. I can just slow down, be with it. And once I'm grounded, once I'm in the place where I'm connected to myself, not the wooden self, not the 5-year-old Alex that doesn't feel good enough. Once I can pass by that, then all of a sudden, I can respond. I don't have to react. I can take responsibility for what's coming next. And I love that word, responsibility. Whatever is going on, you always have the ability to respond. And that's always your responsibility. So you can go through the most traumatic experience, reconnect to your breath, and respond rather than react. I've given you the secret to curing addiction. There's tons of modalities out there, but at the end of the day, an addiction is an adaptive mechanism. It's a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. If you're smoking, if you feel, oh my God, I need sweet, I need to go shopping, it's an adaptive response to a trigger. It's something that is happening that says, oh my God, I'm feeling overwhelmed, and that's how I'm going to react. That's what I need. That's what addiction is. Addiction is a normal response to an abnormal situation. And when trigger comes, it brings you back to the past and you feel you're there again. And if you can just in the moment of trigger says, you know what? I'm going to take one breath and then I'm going to light that cigarette. I'm going to eat that cake, whatever it is. I'm going to watch Netflix, because we often talk about addiction being like, you know, taking substances or alcohol, but I have big news for you. We are all addicted. We're all addicted. And for me, I put all addiction at the same level. And when we're able to insert a wedge, a breath between the trigger and the response, that's a space of liberation. That's where we no longer are conditioned by our past, where all of a sudden we enter a space of creativity, of empowerment with, oh, okay, I think I got this right now. I think I can be, I want to leave the room. I want to punch the person. I want to, you know, bury myself, but I can just be with that. Doesn't mean you suppress your emotions at all. It's a place of truth and authenticity. So that's just, you know, one aspect of what the breath can do for you. The course is very much rooted in science, because again, knowledge is power, and we all need to understand things. I'm number one on that. So I dig deep into the science of what's happening on an inhale, on an exhale, what's happening with this goddamn CO2 and oxygen and all those gases. How can I understand the biology of the body? You know, it's crazy. We are not educated on how our bodies work. You get a phone, you're going to study how the phone works so you can optimize your use of the phone. How come we have no idea where the kidney, the liver, the role of the thyroid, I mean, tons of fundamental knowledge that we need to have about our bodies in order for us to optimize the use of that tool. So that's what the breath is. It's that real remote control that gives you access to your spiritual life, your health, changing limited beliefs. And you know what? I could go on forever, because breath is literally the answer to everything. And, you know, we had science here and there. If you have yogis and yoga teachers in the room, they would know that the yogis say that you're born with a set number of breath. The less you breathe, the longer you're going to live. In Latin, spiritus is breath and spirit. You have this in all languages. When you say aloha, it means sharing the breath. There's so much power in bringing your head close together to someone and sharing the breath. That's the essence of Tantra, the essence of sexual connection. We say that everything in life is about sex. So one thing is not about sex. It's sex. Sex is about breath and connection. So that's in a nutshell what the breath can do. So I can tell you a bit more about the course and how the course works. So when you join the course, you are going to receive every week an email with some lectures and some practical techniques. You're also given tons of materials, reading materials. If you want to go further, some technical ones. You're also given some challenges, some ways to help you build a habit and habits, because that's an essential part of how you can become a master of your destiny. Habits. Look at your life and why you're good at what you do right now, whatever it is. You're a dancer, you're only one secret: repetition, building habits. So I really invite you in this course to build habits, and I give you tools that I've worked on for many years that are helping people build sustaining habits. So you are also joining, or you have the option to join a Facebook group, a private group. And in this private group, I intend to make it a tribe. And those who have joined me in the trainings, they know how much I care about building tribes. I've done it through other aspects of my work previously and around sustainability, and how much of we need each other. Everything in this world now is getting us about not being connected to each other. How can I trust this man? You know, the Me Too movement, I cannot trust anyone. The pandemic, I have to cut myself from others. The problem is we're designed to operate in community. We are tribes. We thrive in connection with others. Once we have this connection to ourselves, what's the use of it if it's not to connect with others? That's why, you know, that's the best format I found. We've got this Facebook group. And this Facebook group, you're going to have live sessions with me, so you can ask questions or breathe together. There'll be speakers coming, but also, most importantly, moments where you guys can just share, hey, I'm struggling right now. Who wants to come in? Because you're going to get some keys on how to operate in order to be part of a tribe. It means you don't give advice. We just, you know, hear each other, support each other, just be there to celebrate and to support whatever we're going through. And then I'll put a lot of knowledge and a lot of science. I really want to nurture this this group so that you feel you don't have to go through whatever you're going through by yourself, because that's the secret. Co-regulation. You can regulate yourself, self-regulation, and that's what you're learning in the course. But it's so much easier when you are being supported by others. Co-regulate. And we're looking for that. We're looking for that in our relationships, looking for that in our relationship with our kids, with our partners. But you know what? And people, again, who have joined me, they experienced it. You can really experience it with just strangers. Once you drop the stories and you connect to the heart, it's amazing. And feeling that I'm part of a tribe, part of a community, is the best feeling in the world. So that's what the course is about: giving you tools, knowledge, practical solutions, and then a community where you share what's going on, you expand, you learn, you ask questions, you challenge. I always share authentically. So if I don't know, I say I don't know. Yeah. So that's in a nutshell what it is. It's 11 weeks. So you receive an email for 11 weeks. And the 12 weeks is a bonus one, all about ice baths, my other passion. So it's a long session on ice baths. So you get some interest if you have an interest in it. I couldn't help myself but to put some ice stuff in there as well. So yeah, that's it. I can tell you about a little bit about the program, since 30% of the proceeds go through it. 30% because I really think that through authentic relating, breathwork, and ice baths, we can help those who need it the most. Children, and right now working with prisoners. It's very hard to work with people who have been conditioned, let's say doctors, you know, who of course would need it the most. But it's very hard to work with doctors in my experience, because they are really set on their ways. It says, you know, if you have a problem somewhere, let's deal with the problem there. They generally don't have a holistic approach and an emotional, they are usually not trained on trauma, for instance, which I think is a root cause of most of our disease. So that's, so kids and prisoners. So bringing sessions to prisoners, educating them on how they can change the story, because, you know, maybe they have believed all their life because they've been told they are bad because of what they have done. You're not your past. You know, I'm a criminal. I am. People define themselves. I'm a murderer. They define themselves through the actions of their past. But that's not who you are. You are not your past. You are not the result of your history. And then, you know, then they believe it. They put tattoos and muscles, and then they are projecting the image that they have built around that. And I do strongly believe, and I have tons of experience with that. I work with murderers, rapists. I've people who were addicted to child pornography. I've seen it all. Every time it comes from trauma. It's a maladaptive response to trauma. And we can hold space for each other. And when we hold space for each other so that we can speak our truth, we can heal, all of a sudden, change can happen. But that's how you change. You don't change through telling you what's wrong with you and how you should be right. It's not through education and instruction that you're going to become a better person. And that's usually what's happening in the prisons around the world. I strongly believe that the way to change the world, the way to heal the world, the way to solve sustainability issues is through that exact process of holding space for each other, not lecturing, not giving advice, so that we can connect to our inner child, we can connect to who we truly are, to the different parts of us that feel a little bit dysfunctional, and welcome them. And be curious about them. Oh, here we go. Huh, this is what's going on. You know, last year, I went into a spa and a hot girl with a boyfriend entered into the sauna. And I had to seduce the girl. And then she started telling me about what she was doing, and her boyfriend said he had done this specific breathing training. And I told him, yeah, I've done this training. And a few minutes later, I realized that he couldn't figure out that I was lying. And then he left the sauna and I ran to my room. And I'm 47 years old. And I reacted like a 5-year-old. So I can judge myself, says, oh my God, I can be ashamed. That's often how we respond to situations. We feel guilty and we feel ashamed and we judge ourselves. Oh, here we go. I'm a bad person. This is how I behave. And that's not helpful. But instead of that, I sat with it. Says, oh my God, here we go again. Why am I doing this? And then there I used longer breathing sessions, which you will also experience. And I could reconnect to that child that was not feeling safe and how he needed to pretend, and could have compassion for him and forgive myself for all the things that I've done that I was ashamed of, and come to a place of compassion and understanding. Doesn't make me right, doesn't make me, you know, that's doing the right thing, but it makes me human. Makes me acknowledge my humanity. And when I fuck up and acknowledge that, oh, here we go. And I believe that's how you heal. That's how you move on. That's how you progress. That's how you can change the story. You can say, okay, time to let go of that. And with the breath and with that compassionate curiosity, you can change. You can support some parts of you that you like more, and change your relationship with your whole body. I used to have a very dysfunctional relationship with my body. Didn't like how I look, didn't like how, you know, anything about me, whether it was hair loss issues, face, anything, call it. I just couldn't have a mirror until I understood that whatever my body was doing had, skin cancer and stuff coming up. People make fun of, I was making fun of myself having so many cups from the hospital in this place. Till I realized that my body was talking to me, that I was just not listening, that I was just too disconnected from my body, that all of a sudden I just wanted to be in another body. I didn't want that body. And guess what? The body was screaming louder and louder. And it's only when I changed the relationship to my body that all of a sudden skin cancer disappeared, and the doctors didn't believe it. And I really, if you look, you can look at pictures just 2 years ago. So it was a big thing on my head. And same with other manifestations in the body. The body is an autobiography. It's a summary of loves and losses. It's not just flesh and bones. So when we have that connection to the body, all of a sudden we can heal, we can change. So yeah, that's what I had for you today as an introduction to this course. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will now take some questions. Go ahead, my friends. I'll take some questions if you have. Go ahead, or reactions or anything like that.
Alex, I have a question.
Go ahead, and maybe you can, Carl, who's assisting me, if you can spotlight yourself as well, or whoever is joining, that would be great.
If I know how. Does that work?
Yes, go ahead.
Cool. Look at me in technology. Okay, my question is, it's an online course, but because there's a Facebook Live element to it, that means it's going to be run over certain dates. So it's not accessible when, it's not a typical online course where you do it when you want.
So yes, it is. It's two things. It's the online course, and that's pre-recorded, or it's already done. Once you will receive the emails every week, and in the emails you have pre-recorded. You have about 12 hours of content together in bite-sized content. And then separately from that, in the Facebook group, I will be running sessions on different time zones, and they will be left there so people can watch the recording if they're not joining the lives. And that will be on different themes, or going further on different topics according to what people come up with, or bringing experts if I'm limited in my knowledge around the topic. But yeah, that's is really nurturing the community there.
So if you're behind in the coursework, does it affect the Facebook stuff?
No, once you join, you can watch, and the good thing with Facebook, you can watch the past ones. The great thing with the course, it's you learn step by step, so you don't get overwhelmed with the science of things. And Carl, you have done my teacher training, so you know how much of science there is. So it's not overwhelming if you do it in bite size. But you can always watch lives, and especially if we do breath work live together. You don't need the knowledge for it. I tell you what, the purpose of the knowledge is for you to trust and feel safe, because usually this is how we work. This is the role of the brain. The brain is here to keep you safe. So it's looking for reasons not to trust, not to feel safe. That's the role of the brain. So my intention is for you to feel safe. And for that, I share science, because that's usually a language that people resonate with. And the more you're going to dig into the course, the more you feel you will trust me. And once you trust me, you can surrender. You're going to let go of control. You're not going to hold on, and you're going to let yourself go into the experience. And as you've experienced, this is where transformation happens once you're in that state. So it is not a teacher training. It is a course. So it's dedicated to anyone, and it's really meant to be very practical for everybody dealing with, again, all the things that we talked about. You want to be empowered with your life, but also you want to sleep better at night. You want to be stopping coffee and being able to function. You want to go through the day without feeling tired at times. You want to control your energy better. So, you know, all the things that we go through. It's not a teacher training. I don't believe in, I think for the teacher training, especially certified teacher training, you should come and do it in person. But there will be in the future teacher training content, but still to get certified, you still need to come in person. If you have more questions, guys, go for it. Even personal questions, anything, use the space, use me. I've dedicated 2 hours.
Can you remind us when it starts, Alex? I've forgotten.
So it is self-paced. So it's on your own time. Once you sign up, you receive every week an email. That's the beauty of it. It's like you're not joining at certain dates. That's great. You can just join on your own time. You can pause, you can come back to it. It's that's exactly why I've done it, because I found that I was doing sessions where people had to join live, and it's very hard because we're busy, we have things to do, and you cannot give your full attention. So yeah, it's about an hour a week combined. People are asking me how long it is. About an hour a week in different sections. So it's very much easy. And then I recommend some books, and I tell you what I love about these books, and I give you some practical practices around shifting your limited beliefs or building habits, so you can go further. So you can really see this course as a starting point, but it's really, I call it essential, and it's really what it is. It gives you the fundamental, the essential information that everybody should be educated with as a child to be empowered with your life. Nothing less, really nothing less. So you are, you know, making decisions like, you know, I give you just one example. Most people want to belong. That's a core trauma that we experience as a child. So here it is. As a child, you need 2 things. You need to belong, because if I don't belong, I'm not going to be fed. Unlike other animals, we're not finished as babies. We need our mothers, our prime caretaker to survive. So we want to maintain that connection. Otherwise, it is life-threatening. And we want to be expressing ourselves. We want to express our authenticity. Unfortunately, as a child raised by unconscious parents, every time you express yourself, you have a tantrum, you are expressing who you think you are in the moment, the reaction of the parents is, go to your room, or something like, you're so pretty when you smile, oh, I don't like you when you make this face. So every time I behave like mommy wants, I am accepted, but whenever I'm acting out, I'm rejected. Go to your room. You come back when you come down. You're not good enough as you are. Yeah, that's a big trauma, because again, if mommy doesn't love me, I'm going to die. So you know what? I'm going to behave the way mommy wants. Belonging becomes more important than authenticity. And all of a sudden, you live all your life wanting to belong. What does it look like? How many women, I worked being in Ubud with Ravun, sleep with someone? Not because they really want to, but just they don't know how to say no. They don't know how to set their boundaries. They want to be accepted. And that's where it's coming from. How many people get drunk because, hey, do you want another beer? Yeah, I want to belong to this group. Okay, I'm going to get drunk if that's the price to pay. I don't really want to get drunk, but I want to belong. See the difference? How many people you know who get married for 20 years, they divorce, and then they tell you, oh my God, I knew it in the altar. I knew it from day one that was not the right relationship. But I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to express my authenticity by fear of being rejected. It's the same for jobs, because it's the right money, it's the right company, So now all of a sudden, and this again, I told you the secret is practice. I wanted to give you the answer to that problem. How can you be more conscious? Here we go. Every time you are asked a question, interject one conscious breath between the question and your response. And it looks like Do you want beer? You know what? I'm good. Or yes, I want a beer. But this breath gives me the space to feel into my body. You cannot trust your mind. Your mind is not there to make you happy. It's just here to keep you safe and is a product of conditioning. So stop trusting your mind. It's owned by Facebook, by your conditioning, through your parents, your reading, everything I'm saying right now. That's what's going on. You have to trust your body. You have to go with your instinct, your intuition. And for that, you need to have a tool to bypass the mind, to go through the body. That's the breath. You know what? I'm not sure I want to marry you. I'm not sure I want this relationship, because usually we go into relationship to heal traumas, experiencing love the way we've been educated on love. So, you know, you've been abused as a child, you're going to go for an abusive relationship because it's familiar, right? So again, that's where the breath can do. And how are you going to do it? Through practice. Every time you're asked a question, never answer right away. But I'm going to say, hey, let's go for pizza. You know what? I don't want a pizza. I'm not going to say I want a pizza just to please you. Or I'm going to say, you know what? I don't want a pizza, but I'll come along. But at least you are learning how to say yes and how to say no from a place of your true self, not from the place of the wounded self. And that's empowerment. Because once you access that true self, it's amazing. It's a place of freedom. It means you're no longer looking for success in any form. So it means you don't care about being rich. You don't care about finding love. It's great to have money. It's great to have love, but you're not dependent on it to be happy. And that's a big difference. And guess what? This is the best way to make money. And it is the best way to find true love. The love where you give, not the love when you are taking. And so, you know, again, bring me a problem that I cannot solve with the breath. Really, really, it's amazing. Bring on some more questions, guys. Yeah, go ahead, Michelle. You can unmute. Or you can ask later if you want, but up to you.
Can I ask something?
Go ahead. Anything.
Okay. Sorry, my system's being a bit funny. So physical problems is what I've got at the moment. Unfortunately, why I left Bali, I got very sick. They weren't sure what it was. They're still not fully sure, I think. But then I'm kind of dealing with the NHS system here, so it's a very, very slow process. So I'm not really getting to see many people now. But bottom line is, it seems it's an intestinal issue, probably caused by a bacterial infection that I've still seem to have and can't seem to rid of, but they're not sure. So thankfully, because I got introduced to your breath work and that I've been doing that a lot, and that certainly helped me, but I'm not healing inside. Physically, I'm not healing. It's and it's causing me quite a lot of problems. How is there any techniques or further techniques that I can use to help with this? Yeah,
thank you. Great question, Sarah. So I'll give you a general one and then more specific. The medical system is focused on treating symptoms, not healing. So they're gonna say, okay, you have this problem, and I'm not a doctor. I'm not qualified to have an opinion on what's going on in your body in any part. But what I know is that people are always focused on the symptom, but they don't know how to access to the root cause. The root cause is never just, okay, yes, you have a bacteria, and they will tell you, okay, it's bad luck, you got a bacteria because you got bad water, and that's a simplistic way of seeing it. But you have a lot of people that just, okay, they resolve their problem with their intestine, and then something else is coming up, and then something else is coming up, and something else. So again, we can always just focus on treating symptoms, but unless we are going to the root cause, we cannot heal. My personal belief is it's rooted in trauma. And it's around trauma release work that we heal. Doesn't mean you let go of the medical system. I think they both have their space, very much so. And anything related to intestine, I would go on the route of, like, you know, nutrition, you know, honoring that. So fasting, and that's miraculous. And what we do with breath hold and what we do with fasting is absolutely miraculous. The body has its own intelligence, and we just need to give it space, whether it's a breath hold or it's fast. But there is a lot that can be done there. So I believe that we need to give ourselves space to feel in order to heal. That's where longer breath work comes in. Whether it's Qigong, meditation, there's not like one way of doing anything. And that's why I don't think that there is a breathing technique that is better than another, and then someone will tell you, oh, you should follow this breathing technique, and it's rebirthing, and holotropic is best, and everyone has their opinion about why their breathing technique is the best. I believe that they're all the same. They are just, some are more active and go faster, others are more in depth, but in a nutshell, they're all doing the same, which is creating and giving you space. And that's what the body is screaming for, space, because we are busy, we're running, we're not giving ourselves space. That's why meditation is amazing, but meditation is very hard. You have to do nothing. Breath work is great. You're busy, you know, you just do something. But then all of a sudden you get to listen. And I've written it in the marketing of the course. It's not a breath course. It's a listening course. What if I finally listen to what my body has been screaming for years? And you mentioned you had other conditions before we started the call. So definitely the body is expressing itself. And once you listen, you say, oh my God, finally I get an understanding and I have compassion for, okay, I'm listening to you. And again, my belief might be completely, you know, but I don't believe in things coming from the genes, or I think that once we do all this and we create the space and we are just being curious about what's going on with ourselves, all of a sudden, like magic, symptoms disappear. And there's tons of narratives around that where people just get over cancer and things like that, and then they just don't have an understanding for it in medical term. And it's always through the process. Usually, I tell you what, and you can probably, most of you will relate to it. I'm included, and I shared with you my story. Most of us, we need a wake-up call to make radical changes in our life. We need a wake-up call to actually finally listen. It's a cancer, it's a separation in my case, it's something that is traumatic enough for say, okay, maybe I can stop running. Maybe I can stop making more money because I've been doing this for 40 years and this has led me nowhere. That's a problem for people who are successful. Once they are successful, they realize they're square one. Once I have the car, the Ferrari, and all the love and nothing has changed. Yeah, you've been looking in the wrong places. All the answers are within, and you're looking without. You, me, and everyone. Because it's much harder to go within. It's much easier to go without and go outside, you know, and medical system is just doing that, is looking outside and just telling you, and, you know, just keep, of course, they don't have time. They're not paid enough. There's all the reasons for it. So, okay, take your pill. Just doesn't work. That's the only problem with the medical system. It just doesn't work. So you're frustrated, you're looking for an alternative, you're going for acupuncture and Ayurveda and and then and it still doesn't work because you are focusing on the symptom. And that's a much longer path. It's a path of compassionate and curiosity and true listening. But that's my belief. So if you are rejecting what I'm saying, not you, Sarah, but anyone's watching, you don't have to take it on. You know, and this course is a buffet. So even if you reject some of the things I say, you will still get 100% benefit from the course because it's a very grounded, practical course. And my spiritual belief and don't come too much in the way. I compartment them. I share some aspect of it. on the spiritual aspects, but at no point I am telling you that you need to embrace my beliefs. I don't give advice. I don't believe in giving advice. I can just share something and then you take what you take from it. But I think there's too many people giving advice in this world, and not enough people just holding space for each other. And when we are just, you know, I take care of myself. That's good enough, and that's a big job. You know, I've shared some of the stuff, not all of them. I have a lot more. So if I take care of myself and everyone is doing the same, I promise you, the world will be in a better place.
Yeah.
Because, you know, of course, if I take care of myself, I take care of my relationships. I'm being impacted by them. Of course, I take better care of Mother Earth because, you know, I need the fruits of it. I need to interact. I am part of nature. Healing happens in nature. Why? Because I am part of nature. People say sometimes, you know, you have to tread lightly. You have to make the minimum impact. I disagree. I am not exterior to nature. I am part of the ecosystem. I am an element of the ecosystem. I belong to it and I interact with it. So I can have a positive impact on animals and plants and girlfriends and kids and everyone that I interact with. I don't have to, oh my God, I'm not going to make an impact. I don't want to harm nature. And I think that's a big mistake that we do in the world. And again, my past is around sustainability. You know, Greta Thunberg and Rainbow Warrior, and they all give advice. They all tell you, shut up, do what I say, listen to me, I know better. And guess what? We don't want to hear that. If I tell you what's wrong with you, you're going to say, piss off, Alex. I don't want to hear you. You know, and that's what we're doing. We're always telling people what's wrong with them at a global level. It doesn't work because we don't want that. We just want space. And we want to receive it from others, and we want to be able to give it to ourselves. So yeah, thank you, Sarah. I'm not sure I'm giving you enough answers, but that's my answer anyway. Let's take more questions. Thank you. Anyone else? Go for it. I have plenty of time. Yeah, Anna, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, long time no see, buddy.
All right, Jonas, go ahead. And Alex, going to see you.
Hey, I have a little update here. She's laying on my arm. She's like 2 months old now. Little Mia says hi.
Hey, Mia. My daughter is Mia as well. What is your question?
Wow, look at that. Look at that. I just wanted to say hi. I missed most of the session. I just joined the last minutes. I'll be in Bali in a few weeks. I'll see you there, Alex. I'm really happy. Wanna get back to a session with you. Much love.
Okay. All right.
Cheers.
It is recorded and public, so I will see you next.
Sure.
Anna, go ahead.
Hi, Alex. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you how long the session stays online?
Forever.
Forever. So even if I don't have time every week, I can just join it and rejoin it.
I don't believe
All
in time restriction. I genuinely care. I genuinely believe that this is how we change the world, and I want as many people to have access to it. So another thing that I can share on that note is that I said that 30% of the proceeds go to social work, but 30% is going to go back to whoever is referring the course as well. So once you complete the course, you get a code and you can tell your friends. Of course, you're going to share it only if you enjoyed it, but you're also going to receive 30%. So I hope that by doing it in integrity, really receiving a lot, but also providing you a good income from it, and all this transparently, we can also build a momentum with it. So we can do good, do well, and share these practices. So yeah, 60% already gone.
I got more questions. The Facebook group you mentioned, even if I join in 1 month from now, am I still going to have access to the past sessions?
Yes, I think so. I think once you join a Facebook group, you can see the past posts. I think so.
All right. And one more question, sorry. You talk a lot about healing the trauma through the breath work, but this is the focus of the course, or is it like each class is going to be different practice, different breathing practice, or how is it going to be structured?
Yeah, you have only one out of the 11 weeks on trauma.
All right.
And all this on my website, you have the breakdown of what's happening every week. One is on stress, one is on nose versus mouth, with, you know, it's very specific. The intention is to really, and that's the only thing that I want you to get out of this course. I want you to fall in love with your breath. I want you to feel, oh my God, I have my best friend right there. I have this connection. Because after that, you will just follow your curiosity. You will want to read more, you will go on YouTube, you will, oh, okay, this is great, but, you know, let's explore more. And you will just, you know, you can find everything on YouTube. But the problem is not to find the answers, but to find the good questions. And I hope with this course, you will get better questions and ask yourself better questions. And once you ask the right question, you'll find the right answers. And for that, that's where the web is amazing. So whether it's in the community or through my content or outside, you will find it. And, you know, you can also, of course, join, and I'll happily recommend practitioners, live sessions, and join. There is so much you can do online, but then you also, I recommend you also join some practitioners, and I have 400 trainers. So there's probably someone not too far from you that you can join that have been through my training. And what's specific about my training is really that idea of being human, not coming from a place of, okay, I know it all and I will share something that will transform your life. No, it's let's hold space for each other, be authentic, be yourself. And when we are ourselves, we allow others to be ourselves. And it's amazing. I mean, I can bring on maybe Amy and Carl, who are in the call, who've done the course, and hear what they have to say on that. But I think that's what makes my approach stand out from others. For me, the most important is what happens after the breath. The breath is not the hero. The breath is a tool. It's a tool. You get somewhere, but if you don't integrate it, if you don't have the space, the container, the people to actually make sense of that mess, then what's the point? And that's what I strongly stand for.
All right. And one more thing, if the classes are pre-recorded,
Yes.
are we gonna have some feedback lessons? Like, I don't know if I'm doing the breath work properly, or if, you know, just to know, to have a little follow-up personally as well.
So there is no one-on-one, but you can absolutely share in the group. And I really want people to start feeling safe. And we'll have, you know, Zoom sessions where people can talk and ask questions regularly. But the truth is, and Amy again and Carl can talk about it, I disappear after a while because people can just support each other and then answer each other's questions. So, you know, it's not like I have the answers and you just come to me and say, hey, Alex, tell me what's right or what's wrong. It says, hey, I need someone else there. And that's how you build a tribe, just by supporting each other. But yes, for sure, any question asked, if someone else is not answering, then I'll answer. And what you're touching is functional breathing. And we talk about that movement and functional breathing and how to breathe correctly. Again, this functional breathing is a symptom. So I can tell you how to breathe better, but I can also invite you to inquire, why am I breathing the way I breathe? So don't focus on the symptom. Oh my God, I struggle to take an inhale. You know, that's often the case. Or I inhale too much and I struggle to exhale. Measuring your inhale and your exhale. Okay, I can tell you how to do right, but it's not interesting. What's interesting is for you to inquire, why am I doing what I'm doing? That's the work. Because again, don't miss out on the fact that it is the way you breathe is giving us information. It's a symptom. So let's be with that. It's the cure as well, but it's also the symptom.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The cost is $485 US. Yeah, and on that, I believe that everyone should have access to the course. So if people cannot afford, then I invite them to reach out and we'll find a solution. If people are social workers, including in my facilitator training, I always welcome people to pay if they can afford. If they cannot afford to join, I truly want everyone to have access to it. And of course, they either have a temporary financial difficulty or they cannot afford. That's not a problem. So people who can afford, it's priced by the people who have tested it. That's how they priced it. It is great value. Again, a lot is going back. And at the same time, I don't want it to be a blocking point. So this is a very, very comfortable discussion around money. Let's bring Amy, if you're open to it, Amy, to come and share about your feedback on the experience of breathing cold.
Sure thing. I don't know how to, if you want me to highlight, I don't know how to be the main person, but
you are, and I'm gonna remove myself. Yeah, that's it. Go ahead.
Oh gosh. Hi guys. Yeah, I was on the February training just gone, and so when I came home, I had quite a few people ask me like if I could explain how the training was and what I learned in particular and all these kind of things. And I genuinely wouldn't be able to put it into words for you if I tried, because for me and for everyone on the course that did it, I know the online course is different, but it's the same kind of view. It's so much more than just learning about the breath and learning about when we did the ice baths and the authentic relating and everything like that. Like, the biggest thing genuinely that I got from this course was the community, like the container, and I cannot bang on about it enough. It was hands down the most transformational month of my life, to the point that I've literally come home, lost the plot and changed everything, but in the best way. But yeah, like Alex was saying, the thing that has got me through coming home and integrating all of this has been the container, the people that were in the group, and the power of authentic relating, and like the game that we did at the beginning, and sharing openly and authentically with partners and different people, and all of that kind of stuff. You don't realize how powerful it is until you do it. Like, just by sharing your own story, you're not only just taking the weight off of yourself, you're giving somebody else the permission to share as well. And that is so beautiful. And when you create that container with people, it's genuinely magical. I went into that place. I'm a yoga teacher and I teach men's yoga and specialize in men's retreats mainly. Random, I know, but here we are. And I went into the course basically naively thinking that I was just going to be getting a new skill, breath work, without really thinking about the fact that I was going to be having to do it all day, every day for 3 weeks. So it was an emotional roller coaster. But the biggest thing, like I said, I got out of it was the people. Like, one of the girls from Bali she's gone back to Ireland. She's already come to mine for a week. She helped me on my women's retreat last week. We've probably done like 10 video calls. I've only been home for 3 weeks, nearly 4 weeks. It'll be 4 weeks now. But we've already done video calls left, right, and center. Like, everyone is there for each other, to the point where it's been like midnight in the UK, and I have been like on the chat, is anyone up? Because I'm losing the will to live. And literally had like 4 people reply like, yep, cool, let's chat. And just gone on the chat and just been crying my eyes out. And people, the best thing, like Alex said, they're not there to give you the advice. They're just there to listen, and you're allowed to talk and like work through whatever it is. And it is absolutely incredible. The breath has genuinely changed my life completely. Yeah, it's been mad. It's been a fucking roller coaster. But amazing, really, really good. I'd recommend it to anyone. And the biggest thing I could say is I looked at a few different courses before. I looked at all these different things. I had video calls with all these different people, and I really didn't want to go to Bali for what it's worth, because I was like, I can't leave my yoga class for a month. It's too much to ask for. And as soon as I got on the call with Alex, I was like, fuck, this is the person that I want to learn from. And I was definitely right in my gut. Like, Alex has just got a way of explaining things and just giving the information that you need without it being like he's teaching you something. He's giving you so much more than the knowledge of the breath. It's so much outside of that, which has been amazing. So I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. I'm flushing here in Bali. Let's hear another perspective, and then we'll take, if you guys have more questions, just put them in the chat. Happy to bring you back. Carl, if you want to share your experience, and then we'll take questions more after that.
Sure, Alex, happily. Yeah, I did, last year I did a 2-day workshop with Alex, and I've done many courses and retreats and personal development, and that 2-day workshop last year was probably one of the better ones I'd ever done. And when I heard Alex had a 3-week facilitator training, I thought, I need to do more with this man. And I was on the same 3-week facilitator training with Amy last month, which was absolutely transformational. Yeah, Alex is the real deal. Very humble, very real, but the most authentic facilitator I've ever experienced. His ability to be vulnerable and just so authentic is absolutely incredible. His knowledge, he's very humble when he says he's a nobody, but that's also what's so beautiful about him. He comes across as a nobody and relates to us so well, but his knowledge is outstanding. Since coming back from our facilitator training, I've been digging into the science a lot, and I can't believe, Alex, how much you know. So how much you were able to express so simply and easily to us. Yeah, so all the science I've been listening to lately, I'm like, yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said. You just covered it all. So you are absolutely brilliant, and your ability to relate to us on our level is beautiful. Not across as this big guru, but mate, you are. So yeah, I can't recommend Alex enough. I'll be doing a lot more with this man, hopefully, with other courses and things down the track, because he's just remarkable. And yes, like Amy said, the community you get afterwards is incredible, and Alex is very generous with his time. He says he won't come on and do stuff like that, we'll take over, but he's always there. He's always reaching, he's always on calls with us. Yeah, you can't go wrong. I don't remove my own spotlight.
Thank you. Okay. Ooh, okay, guys, you I think Paulina, you had a question, is that right? So your hand briefly up. Go ahead, Paulina.
I can share a little information about the course if you wish.
Go ahead.
Sure, I have your permission.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm doing Alex's course, and I've had a look at the course, this course, right? So, thank you. Okay, I just and what I like about this course, so far, it's the course that you will do for yourself, purely for yourself. So this time, 1 hour a week, you will be dedicating purely to yourself, to connecting to yourself through your own breath. This is not for facilitating, maybe later, but at this time, it's about becoming the person that is connected with the breath, to later become someone who can share this knowledge through embodied knowledge. And what I like about the classes so far is there's lots of practice. And this is what I always liked about Alex. It's not about only talking, it's about practicing and embodying the experience. So even just from the outline of the 12 weeks, you can see that you'll receive basically lots of tools about the breath that will allow you to experiment with your own breath, okay, and later on learn from your own body. And this idea that, you know, it's without giving an advice. It's enough instruments, you'll get enough instruments to play with your breath in such a way that you will connect with your own inner advisor. Okay, and this idea of connecting with the body or connecting to any physical sensations in the body. You, Sarah, asked, for example, yeah, what type of breath needs to be there for your body, and it's all about finding your own breath. And this gives you a very good foundation and base about the components of the breath, right? You then have this instrument toolbox, and you open it, and you're like, okay, so I feel this in my body. How about I try to breathe like this? I know this about the inhale, or that about the exhale, or that about the breath hold, you know, or something like that. And you begin experiment. So you just need this. Yeah, you just need this information, and it's like you're getting he's giving you the paint brushes of different sizes, so you can draw, all right, but the colors, you choose the colors, something like that. Okay, and in terms of healing the traumas, especially the physical traumas, it's about the body asking for your attention. Alex said it's creating space, right? Giving space, but it's all about giving yourself attention. That's why I say this course is for you, right? This is an investment that you will do specifically in your body, in your emotions, in your mental space. So it's like going to a spa, all right? It's not for anyone else. It's just purely selfish knowledge or selfish practice that you will be doing with yourself. And in terms of healing, this information is very precious because that attention that your body is asking for, and it's not the attention when you're, especially for ladies, that you apply creams, you know, and you just you mark that you gave attention. It's the presence that you give to your body in order to get that healing. And for me and for Alex and for many people who've been working with the breath for a long time, we can confirm that there is no better way to connect with the body but through the breath, because it goes in and out of your body 23,000 times a day. So imagine if you just give it a little bit of your presence, what information you can extract, the information that is right for you. And you will have this confirmation when you build this connection with that inner advisor, and you'll be able to heal lots of things that people say are uncurable.
Thank you, Polina.
And learn a lot from your own journey. So thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Just conscious of people's time, and if they have questions, I want to make sure that they're honored. So go ahead. Don't hesitate to bring anything, guys, if you have questions for me or for Polina, who is doing the course at the moment, or Carl. Go ahead. No worries. And I'm putting Carl just put a link to the course and to a discount code for the participants, 50% off. And then, yeah, I'll do a lucky draw, and then email the 5 winners for receive the course for free. Any question, anyone? Go ahead, Sarah. Unmute yourself.
Okay. Not really a question, just a statement. It's just very interesting. Thank you. Sorry, Paulina, was it? I can't remember. But yeah, and also what you've said, Alex, that I think I focus more on controlling my breathing rather than listening to it and having an awareness and a curiosity of how I'm breathing. As soon as I have any awareness about it, then immediately control it in a way that I think is beneficial in my limited knowledge. But I think that's a really interesting thing that has kind of said, yeah, be much more aware of how it is and what information I can get from that, you know, what it is telling me. And hopefully the course would help me find that out, you know, like how I can interpret and understand what my natural breathing rhythm at that moment in time is telling me.
100%. Control is a huge issue, especially with women, I find. Like it's something that I see over and over, and really it's the, you know, the we live in a world, and now since the empowerment after the Me Too movement, are really women feeling after years of patriarchy. Now we have a voice, and we're not being put down anymore, and it's just not the end of patriarchy, or it's not ended at all, but the reverse is just started. So as a result, there is a desire for control, desire for empowerment, and it comes often in dysfunctional way, and that need for control is coming in every aspect of human's life, but specifically I find, again, working with a lot of women in one's life. And if you think about it, all we dream of is to surrender, not to have more control. We want to feel safe enough where, oh my God, I don't have to control anymore. Someone can take care of me, and I can feel safe. And we crave that. We don't give it to ourselves. So yes, this idea of dancing or moving freely without trying to control the breath, of allowing ourselves to breathe freely through the mouth and not thinking too much about it. All these, you know, feminine practices are absolutely essential and require daily practice. You know, if you forget the breath, every day you must dance. You must dance. It's such an important practice, because it's not something that when you dance, you're not in control. You're just allowing the movement to come in an organic way. And that's a very important thing to reconnect with. And getting out of the way by not controlling the breath, for sure. That's what's beautiful. And all those long breathing techniques, what they often have in common is at one point, you stop trying to push the breath. The breath is breathing you. You don't have to do anything. And that natural breathing that you refer to is absolutely essential. Yes. We don't feel emotions often through the nose. When we laugh, it's through the mouth. When we cry, when we have an orgasm, it's through the mouth. I'm not going to demonstrate, but you get the idea, yeah. So that idea of getting out of the way is absolutely essential. Thank you for that. And just to on what Amy said about the tribe, my intention is to build the same quality of tribe with the people joining online. And it's a dream, and that's it. But I do believe that once you have gone through what I do in this course, you will have tools to then connect authentically with others. And if you just bring yourself in the group authentically, there will be space, I hope, and I will do my very best for it, to connect authentically. So we will be doing circling, again, having guests initiate sessions, and hopefully whatever Carl and Amy described, you will be able to experience it to some extent. Of course, it's not the same as being 3 weeks in a container with people, but I hope that, you know, we'll be able to create something like that. Again, that's my dream, and I think that's really how we make a big impact in the world, by just walking side by side with everyone. And in that moment, and I've experienced it so much during COVID, it doesn't matter if you're in person or online, you can experience that connection. And during COVID, I trained a lot of people who've done the training just online. It was a teacher training back then, and it didn't matter if we were online. We can really feel each other, hear each other, hold space for each other, regardless of our physical distance. And actually, it's quite magical to experience it. You can apply it to everyone in your life, whether they are present with you or not. All right, friends. Anyone else who has not spoken? If you have things to say, go ahead, or to share.
I just wanted to say thank you. There's a lot of amazing things you said just now, and I love the breath as a tool to bypass the mind. It's I'd never thought about it like that, and God, do we need it sometimes?
Yeah, we do. And you know, what's amazing with all this is that it's very simple. It's not like we are sharing techniques, and that's really what is amazing. Unlike other practices, it doesn't require years to master it. You know, I cannot teach you karate online or qigong in 12 hours. You know, that requires years. But the breath, there is something that taps into our inner knowledge. Our deep knowledge says, okay, this is truth, and we receive it, and it just flows, literally. But it's the practice that that's harder. That's once you have the knowledge, you know, you've got the tools, then that's where the challenges that I put on, I put some the games to make it a daily practice, a daily habit, and journaling to be able to witness how it's impacting and what it does, because you know those habits are hard to break, hard to change. But again, 6,000 people. You can watch 600 testimonials on YouTube, on TripAdvisor, and Google. It just works. And it's simple. It just requires practice and commitment, and really to celebrate yourself. Oh my God, this is what you heard very just brief testimonials, but it's amazing what people do and how they change their life after that in incredible ways. They don't act from trauma and triggers anymore, and that's very liberating because you're not attached to an outcome. You're not attached. I'm literally have zero attachment to whether people join or not. It's not gonna make me feel good enough or not. I want it to be a success because of the impact that I know it can have in the world. And I've been frustrated all my life being an environmentalist with trying to have an impact, and also comes from trauma. But I've built an app called Refill My Bottle. You can download and see where you can refill your water bottle around the world. Build a community of change makers and booking websites. And it's so hard. But when you are not attached to outcomes anymore, it's easy. And that's true for relationship. That's true for education of your kids. It's true for every aspect of your life. Non-attachment to an outcome, right? And that's a big one. That's a big one. I go through challenges with my son, and I'll happily share in a live on Facebook what's going on there. But those tools really help me through the rough times to just stick to, here you go. Here I am. I'm doing my best. I'm staying in connection. I'm staying in love and in authenticity. And after that, this other small human being has to go through their own journey. And I'm no longer attached to making people happy and fixing things. And yeah, it's helping a lot. All right. Anyone else? Last chance, go for it. It's your opportunity. All right, I think we don't have any more questions, so we're gonna be closing. So just close your eyes and reconnect to your breath. And just check in. How do I feel now? How did I feel when I joined an hour and a half ago? How do I feel now? what's going on. And yes, it was a very, you know, very defined exercise, a promotional webinar, but yet just acknowledge how you feel right now, how this message came across and how you received it and how you're impacted. And let's take 3 breaths to close. Inhale and out. In and out. One last time, inhale and let it go. All right, everyone, sending you lots of love wherever you are in the world. Bye.